Right, so on to the 21st, right? When my wife says that never happened when the two police officers were in the house and I caught them, right? But the very next day, right? The very next day, I get an email from my wife, right? Hi Ian, I think things have come to a head now and I feel it's time for me to walk away from our marriage. From me. A marriage. I'm sure you feel the same. I feel now it's affecting the boys and I want that. And I'm sure you don't either. We can go over old ground. Bottom line is we need to move on. Things don't seem to be getting any better. We cannot be at each other's throat. It's not good for any of us. I want you to know I've never told the boys not to speak to you. If anything, I've always told them to speak to you as you are their dad. And I would always tell them that. We need to make arrangements for you to see the boys. And I think it's best you make this with them and you let them know. I cannot afford to keep the house. I suppose you cannot either. As I said last week, I have made a rate. As I said last week, this is the first time I ever heard of that. I have an agent coming up on Thursday to give evaluations. So let me know what they have come back with. We need to discuss Craigborough and this. Should we sell it or do you want to? Right, I'm kind of bored. Does me on that. Right. This is what I got the very next day, right, at work. And that's the only time my wife has ever told me what this is all about, or why she wanted to leave or separate. Right? She started an argument this Saturday night, TV gets smashed at the next minute, this is what I get. I mean, this is crazy. But 6 months prior to this, right, she started acting, that's when the grooming started, I believe, about 6 months prior to this, right? Because there was an incident in the Esquire house when we were there for Easter. And that's when I can take it back to. I can take it back to that incident and before, right? Just slightly before then. And people know, or were there at that time in Esquire know what I'm talking about, right? But that's what I go to the next day and I'm going, this is crazy. Right, so I want you to listen to this. And I'll give you a background. This is like last October, right? When my wife and I discovered about this, or it started to come to light that the police were involved more than I even thought. Right? I started going, what the fuck? I heard she started denying that second night ever happened then. And I'm like, why is she doing this? And then it was like, divorce. And I'm like, these police have got something to do with this. Right? So I'm like, you're shagging the police. Blah, blah, blah. Next minute I get hot with an interdict. Right? Because I said she was shagging a police. Right? So I'm in the house on the Monday morning. And the sheriff, or Scotland Court, Sheriff Clark's came to my door about 11:30 in the morning and gave me the interdict, telling me to stay away from my wife. But I had the dog all weekend, right? And I had to return the dog on the Monday. And I go, I've got to take this dog out. So I phones and I text my son. Because obviously at that time I couldn't text my wife, right? So I text my son. No reply, phoned, no reply. So I guess about 12:30, I think 2 o'clock in the afternoon maybe. 2 o'clock, I had to go to work. I had a job. So I had to drop the dog off, right? But I'm going, I've got this interdict, I can't go up to her house, right? But nobody's answering the phone. And I knew my wife would be home because everybody was walking home at that time. So I'm going up and I'm going, say I've got to take this dog up. Because I knew she wouldn't answer the phone to me. That was never going to happen. Right, so I'm going to have to take this dog up. So I gets up to the house. And my son and my wife's car's parked outside. So I'm going, they must be in. But so I goes, I better tape this just in case she says something. No, I tried to do anything. Right? I tried to swear or threaten her or call her a silly name or something like that. I don't know. But I just thought I'll tape it. And this is what happened. Right? Now it starts off. Just going into the ambulance, get the dog off. Yeah, it goes on a wee bit, that's me just getting out of the car. Right. And I go down and I start shouting. Because I want people to know I'm there, I'm not going to cause any trouble. I'm just here to drop the dog off. Now Ross was in it this time. Well, my boy was in it, the two boys were in it this time, but they were hiding up the stairs. Angela. And this was all set up by them, or Angela. Right. This is just tiny. Angela. You walk straight into the living room and the stairs go month after the living room, but you know it's tiny. Angela, the dog. And they know that this interdict's been served. They know. She knows, because as soon as they serve it against you, they phone the person and tell them that's it served. She was the only person that knew I was there. Right? Did you hear that? Right? I say to her, I say, what? I'm about the time the police the second time, right? When I walked in and caught you the two police officers. And I said they're in the kitchen, and she says, no, the one was in the sitting room, one was in the kitchen. Right? So that's the second time I walked in and caught her. Right? Not the first time when I was up the stairs. I'll play it again. See? See? That'll see. There wasn't a time that you walked in. Right? Goes on, I'll look for it. See, now she's trying to deny the whole thing. But she just admitted that I walked in and caught them, right? And I said, well, she's asking you a personal question. What the fuck was that all about? Huh? First night I was already up the stairs, right? Second night they followed me up the stairs. I walked in and caught them. Huh? Right, so that's the first time she said she phoned the police on the Saturday night. No, she never. There's no record of her phoning the police. Nobody ever phoned the police. She phoned the guy who was sitting outside in the fucking motor. Did you ever phone him the second time? No, I never phoned him. Right, now, if I say to you that you never phoned him the second time, the first thing you would say was, what second time? There wasn't a second time. There was never a second time. This is me just trying to drag out the conversation and get her involved. But I know she's not got it. No denying it. No denying it. No just going, right? So, get me the records. That's what I did. Right? And I know, when I had this tape, I never even listened to it till maybe 2 days later. And it was when I listened to it and I'm going, why is my wife fucking denying? Right? Blatantly denying that the police were at my house. When it was clearly autumn, she was there, I was there, and they were fucking there. Right? So I said, why was she? This is fucking crazy. So I had to go and get the fucking police records. And I never expected to find this. I never suspected the police. I mean, it crossed my mind when he's. But I'm like, no way. No way. That means she'd have to have all this arranged. And it was just too far out of my mind to think that fucking this was a possibility until I got all this information back. You know, until I got all that. It was like, what the fuck is there going on here? But when I did listen to it back, it was like a fucking bomb exploded. A bomb. Because I knew there and then when I heard that tape that she was involved with the fucking police to some degree. I don't know how that. But for the police, I'm going like, well, there must be a record. There'll be a record. She phoned the police. I heard her. Right? That's what I'm saying to myself. I heard her phone the police, so she must have fucking no. There must be a record there. No, and there'll be a report about it all. Nothing, as I said. 6:20, nothing. Before anybody even phoned. This is crazy. This is mental. Oh, I'm sorry. Just sometimes this gets me upsetting. I hope you can hear all that. If you can, if you want, I'll post it online at the tape itself. I think we'll do that. So then you start questioning, why would the police lie and get my wife to lie about them being in my house? Why would they do that? That was... So the red flags started to come up and fucking all sorts, and you're like, what the fuck? And then when I get all the information back, I'm like, you dirty little rat. This has been going on at least 6 months before they came into my house. At least, right? And not only that, not only does Sergeant McLean know, but the other 2 officers fucking know what he's up to. Right? 2 of them know. Do you think they're going to keep that a secret at the police station? No, that's not a secret. Right? This is all about the place. Right? This is like standard procedure for them by the sounds of it. Huh? I mean, how many other guys have went through this and never even realised? It was only because my wife started saying it that fucking night never happened. I'm going, why would you say that? That's crazy. Right? But this is this manipulating bastard. Right? This is when he's grooming. Right? To do that, to force her to come into my house and remove me twice, right? For his wee bit of fun, right? For his wee bit of fucking power play, right? What's not happening, right? I want this prick out my life, and my wife's life, and my kid's life. No, to get my wife back. I don't want my wife back. I just want this prick out of it. I mean, you don't stay with somebody for over, or don't know somebody for over 40 years and say you're scared. It's nonsense, right? My wife's never, anybody that knows me and my wife knows fine well, right? My wife wore the fucking boots in her house, no? Scared of me. She was never scared of me, but she tried to walk early tapping me sometimes. And sometimes I'd have to answer back, you know. The way she didn't like it sometimes, and I was never physical in my life, you know. It's nonsense. I mean, as I said, 6 months before the police came in, it was like, I didn't know what gaslighting was. I didn't even know what these things were. Right? I just thought she was going through some sort of midlife crisis or the menopause or whatever. It's just and it was constant. It was like a military. But looking back, and I said this to my son a few times. It's like a military operation here, Mo. Just douche, cut me off, do it, not. And if I ever brought this subject up, it was like, get him out of the house. He's nuts. Get the police, I'm like, what? No? So eventually I couldn't bring the thing up, no? And I could bring it out with my sons and I wouldn't let it go. I wouldn't let it go with her either in the cases whenever I seen her. I didn't see her very often. Not often at all. Because you'd avoid me like the plague. Like the plague. Right? And I couldn't, I was like, this is not making my kid's life any easier. It's not making anybody. I thought, as far as I was concerned, we broke up. I can what? No, you go your way. But try to do the best for our kids, will we? You know what I mean? But no, it was a shut. You know? And then eventually it was like, wow.